big crowd here, but owner Mick McHugh did have a giant bottle of champagne on the bar with his employees around, ready to celebrate some good news. And I don't think many expected the Kings to relocate here, at least the ones we talked to, but many were hoping that an expansion franchise or some promise down the road might be made to Seattle, but that did not happen. Mick talked about that disappointment, and former city councilwoman Jan Drago also shared her views.
I mean, my goodness gracious. Oh, just stunning. Just stunning. But it's back to the drawing board. This kid doesn't quit. I got news for all of us. He is not quitting.
My reaction is more about, I'm feeling a sense of injustice. I mean, I thought a deal was a deal was a deal.
That fans here in Seattle are encouraged by one thing, the NBA's comments regarding expansion. Somebody asked Deputy Commissioner Adam Silver if expansion was discussed today. He did say yes, and that they hope to return to the Seattle market one day. But one day, when is the big question there? And also, what happens to the arena deal that the city had with Chris Hansen, the MOU, and that land right down here in Soto? We'll try to answer that question coming up in about 30 minutes.
A lot still needs to be answered, Chris. We got reaction from Seattle's Mayor Mike McGinn just a few minutes ago.
I guess my message to the fans is, I'm disappointed with you. You have every right to be disappointed, but hang in there. You got a great ownership team. You've got a city government that stands behind this deal, and we're going to keep working.
We're continuing to gather reaction and working to find out what's next. Coverage on the Sonics rejection continues throughout tonight's 90-minute newscast.
I'm new at 5.
The question is, what will the political climate be in Seattle in a couple of years, or maybe even in 1 year once we have the election for the city of Seattle's mayor coming up this fall? I mean, I think that's an interesting thing for C.R. Douglas to follow down the road, because there's some pro-arena people that are running, and there are some con people running that don't want the arena to happen. So whoever's in that office starting next January might have a big say.
I'm glad you said that. C.R. Douglas is digging into that very issue right now, how the politics of this will be affected. We're going to have more on that coming up.
And I know Tim Burgess, one of the candidates, already did release a statement about it, how disappointed he was today. But I mean, it's Mayor McGinn's been a very big proponent of the arena, but not everybody is.
All right, Ian Furness. In the meantime, this has been a long, hard battle for Seattle since losing the Sonics in 2008. It wasn't until 2011 that the city's hopes for an NBA revival were realized. Chris Hansen and his team of investors proposed a new basketball and ice hockey arena in Soto. And in 2012, the city and county came to that agreement with Hansen's group. It seemed fans would finally get their wish. There was a light at the end of the tunnel. Hansen set his sights on the Sacramento Kings, made an agreement to buy the team in January of this year. But it now appears that Seattle's hopes have been dashed once again. We're going to have more coverage of today's decision in a little bit.
In fact, we're going to hear from fans reacting to the news later in our newscast. And as promised, we're going to check in with C.R. Douglas, who's been following the politics of Seattle's arena deal the entire way, and what this means for the future of that arena. It's all coming up at 5:30.
Another developing story right now in Sacramento. The decision came down to just a few hours ago, a 22-8 vote among league owners to keep the team in California.
This is just deflating for fans here in Seattle. They were ready to welcome back the NBA back to town with a new arena and a big money offer for the Kings. Chris Hansen just released a statement on the NBA's decision. He says his group is extremely disappointed with today's relocation vote and believes his team had a significantly better offer and arena plan. But he says the fight is not over with this quote: "We look forward to hearing back on our agreement to join the Maloofs as limited partners in the Kings." And he adds, "Our day will come, and when it does, it will be just that much sweeter for the struggle." NBA Commissioner David Stern showed little sympathy towards Seattle and its ownership group, led by Hansen and Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer. When asked if Seattle was used in order to get the Kings a better deal, Stern said this.
The mayor came in and said, "We understand that there's this offer in Seattle. What do we have to do to keep the team here?" And the committee responded, "You got to match the offer, have a building, and get a good ownership group that can make it happen."
Well, it worked, because that's exactly what happened. Sacramento Mayor Kevin Johnson spoke to reporters just moments ago saying he's happy with the outcome, but he says he's also sympathetic towards Seattle and hopes Seattle will one day get a team.
It's also disappointing for Seattle Mayor Mike McGinn. He was an early and active champion of the Sonics coming back here.
After all, the deal here in Seattle involved not just private investor Chris Hansen, but public money as well. C.R. Douglas talked with the mayor just a few minutes ago. Joins us live from downtown with the latest. He must be disappointed, C.R.
You know, he is, Matt. He went out on quite a limb politically to bring this deal to the public. I mean, it took some selling to get lawmakers to agree to $200 million in public bonds that would be repaid with arena revenue should this thing ever get built. But it definitely would not have gotten this far without McGinn's hard work. Now, as you say, I was just with him. I asked him how disappointed he is in this NBA decision.
I've always been anticipating some twists and turns, and that it's also a long road. So, you know, would have been great to have a better result today, but at the same time, we've got a great city, we've got a great NBA market, we've got a great ownership team, we have a very strong arena plan, one of the best in the nation, really, and we've got an amazing fan base. So we have all of the pieces in place.
Does McGinn believe the deal is dead, or does Seattle still have a chance down the road?
You asked what hope. Hell, ask me what hope I had when I was elected that we'd even be looking at an opportunity like this. We're just going to, you know, keep working hard to take an opportunity to be ready for the next opportunity. And you know, you have to give, you have to give credit to Mayor Johnson in Sacramento for fighting to keep their team.
And we also heard from some city council members today equally disappointed that this NBA decision went against Seattle. They, however, want to keep hope alive. Now, this agreement with Chris Hansen, it doesn't expire for another 4 years, so they're all saying that they still think this can happen, but after the events of today, certainly it's not going to happen quickly. Back to you guys.
C.R., we have a race for mayor going on. As you said, McGinn put his neck out for this deal. How does this all affect the mayor's race?
Well, I think it's a pretty big hit to McGinn. I mean, this was a big part of his narrative, if you will, that he can bring people together and get stuff done. I mean, there were a lot of players involved in this, and he really was the one that got them together. So it's a big win that's denied him. I mean, imagine the difference we would have had today had this decision been approved. I mean, we would have probably had some kind of huge rally down at Pioneer Square, you know, the beers on Chris Hansen, the mayor there, the bullhorn, you know, taking the praise. So it's a big win. He's denied at a crucial time in a campaign, which after all, he's in a heated re-election with a lot of challengers who are, you know, very competitive with him.
As you said, people are not celebrating, and the mayor is one of them. Thanks, CR, for the fans. You know, what can you say? This is just crushing. Many thought we'd actually see the NBA back in Seattle this coming fall.
Certainly did for a while there. The past few weeks have been an emotional roller coaster for all of the Sonics faithful. Michelle Letka talked to some of the fans today. She joins us live from Pioneer Square with more on how they are reacting. Michelle?
Thanks, Marnie. You know, it's really just somber out here. As you guys will remember, just 8 months ago, this was the site of a Bring Our Sonics Back rally. Chris Hansen was here buying beers at FX McCrory's for hopeful fans, but today there just was no celebration at all. In fact, FX McCrory's was practically empty this afternoon as NBA Commissioner David Stern's announcement came over the television sets. It was especially hard news to hear for proprietor Mick McHugh, who has known Chris Hansen for over 20 years.
This young man, Chris Hansen, I'm so proud of him. You know, he used to be a dishwasher for me. He's so well prepared, so well written, so good on his presentations. His enthusiasm and his passion for this has just absolutely been incredible.
It doesn't really make me feel comfortable. This was our shot right now. We got to regroup and see how we can get the team. The only thing
Even though Commissioner-elect Adam Silver had made reference to the league wanting to bring an NBA team back to Seattle with possible talk of expansion in the future, the fans I spoke with are having a hard time finding a silver lining with that even right now. As for that big bottle of champagne, Mr. McHugh tells me that he has every bit of faith in Chris Hansen that someday he will be able to bring an NBA team back to Seattle, and when he does, he'll be ready to pop that open and celebrate. From Pioneer Square, I'm Michelle Letka. Back to you guys.
And stay with us for the very latest on Seattle's bid to bring the NBA back to Seattle, and you can hear more from what Commissioner David Stern had to say and read the rest of Chris Hansen's statement on our website, Q13Fox.com.
A $3 million budget shortfall in